Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk a little bit about travel because I'm struggling. I need to travel. It's been too long. I'm one of those people that like constantly needs to have like a trip planned or a trip on the go or something, and while we do, it's just back to New Zealand. And it's like, love New Zealand, love my friends and family, love that we're going back there, but like my soul is yearning for something new and something different. So I figured if I can like make a video talking about it, then at least that's kind of like something to do with travel and it might help the itch a little bit. So first of all, I kind of wanted to go through, my cat is chasing a fly, so there's probably going to be all kinds of bullshit going on in the background. I first wanted to talk about where I have been and then kind of circle around to where I want to go / hopefully will be going in the next couple of years. Yeah, and then maybe if anyone has been to the places that I want to go, you can leave me like a little bit of advice or like tips or something if you've been there, because I feel like there's a lot to learn and a lot of places can be like very overwhelming. I am, however, gonna find another book to put you on because I'm sitting like this to try and make sure that I'm in frame. So I just need to find, hold on, 1 second, hold on. Is this better? It feels a little better. Maybe I just need to sit further back too. I should get like a proper setup going on, but I don't want to. I have got them written on my phone here, so if I do lean forward it's just because I'm trying to make sure that my phone screen is lit up, because I talk with my hands and I really don't like holding a phone in my hand the whole time that I'm filming. So yeah, first of all, places I've been. The list is not long. I wish it were longer. First of all, Mark and I have done like a pretty good exploration of like New Zealand itself. So when we were young, we obviously didn't have like the budget to be traveling internationally a lot of the time, or any of the time. So we did a fair bit of travel just like around New Zealand. My favorite places definitely in the North Island would have to be Wellington. I'm a big Wellington fan and I know lots of people hate Wellington. But I like it. I think it's a really cool city. We have like a usual hotel that we stay at when we go there, like this area that we really love to visit. I really rate Wellington. I think it's great. My hay fever is so bad right now. I've just taken an antihistamine, so I'm hoping that it's going to chill out, but for now I'm so like congested. It's so annoying. Favorite place in the North Island, Wellington is really up there. Rotorua is pretty up there for me. I think it's cool. There's a lot to do there. Sorry, I was swiping at that fly. That's gonna drive me absolutely insane. I really like Rotorua. Obviously people are gonna be like, but it smells. Like, yeah, it does. Get over it, grow up. And New Plymouth is another one. I've only visited there once that I can remember, but again, lots to do there. Absolutely beautiful place. I would love to go back there and kind of explore it more. Also, there's like your generic places that everybody loves, like Taupo and Napier. They're all really pretty. The North Island is my home, so I have been around it quite a bit, and I do love it. I think there are definitely like, there are some places that are like, meh. Like I really personally not a huge fan of Auckland just because it's too busy for me. I find it quite overwhelming. It's a bit of an overwhelming place. I come from like middle of nowhere in the country, relatively small town, barely a city. So I find Auckland very overwhelming. Wellington used to be like that for me as well, but I think I've spent so much time there that I've kind of gotten used to it. So maybe Auckland would be the same for me, but as of right now, it's not a fan favourite. Favourite places in the South Island. Now, I've only visited the South Island like twice that I can remember. Yeah, literally. But I really like Christchurch. I think Christchurch is great. Again, it's one of those cities that's like, it's busy, but I think it's laid out really well. I think it's a really beautiful place. Mark and I stopped there for a few days when we were on our honeymoon, and so it was really cool to just kind of like explore the city. Obviously there was a really massive earthquake there years and years ago now, so the city is very different to what it was when I went for my first visit with my mum. When I was younger, we went down there to see my brother when he lived there, and I remember going to see like the cathedral and stuff like that, and then when we were on honeymoon, you can no longer like go close to it or go in it. That's what it was like when we were there anyway. So very, very stark contrast, but it is really interesting to see how the city has changed and adapted post-earthquake. I think it's just absolutely wild. I'd love to spend more time there. And I think my other one for the South Island is, like, and this is obscure, but I really like Picton. I think Picton is cute. I think it's a nice little town. They have really good food there. We went to this little restaurant when we were waiting for the ferry, and it did like pizza and stuff. Amazing pizza. Fantastic. Probably one of the best pizzas I've had in my life. And it's so just like off the track, obscure little place. And I also really like Kaikoura? I can't say it. Maybe I'll put a map here so you can see what I'm talking about. I'm not going to embarrass myself trying to pronounce that again. But again, really like cute little place. Mark and I stopped there on our honeymoon. We did some whale watching, we took a flight. It's just pretty and it's sweet, and I like little places like that. I'm not a huge big bustling city person, but the South Island of New Zealand is extremely beautiful. I do wish we had more time to see it, or maybe that I'd been there a bit more. Maybe we'll try and do like another tour in a few years time and go to places that we didn't get to go when we were on our honeymoon, because there was quite a few, and I think genuinely the South Island is just stunning. It's so pretty. Other places I've been include America. So I was lucky enough to be taken on a trip to California when I was about 11, I think. 11, 12. And we basically did like LA, San Diego. I obviously wasn't in charge of any of that, but it was a fantastic trip. I think it's a really cool place. I was very young, so my memories of like the actual area are pretty vague. But I do remember obviously the cool things we did there. We did like Universal Studios, Disney, California Adventure, Knott's Berry Farm, basically just like theme parks. We went to quite a few like restaurants and stuff where they did shows and saw things like that, and I think they were so fun, and I have such fond memories of them that like I just wish I remembered more about like America in itself. Like I remember the food and stuff like that, but I don't actually remember a whole bunch of like, you know, was it pretty? What exactly did you see driving around? I think being like an 11, 12-year-old, I kind of more focused on the fact that I was driving on the wrong side of the road than what I was looking at out the window. And I don't mean wrong side of the road, I just mean different, because obviously we drive on the opposite side. So when I was 11, it was just like mind-blowing. Yeah, I really like, I loved my American trip. I'm forever wanting to go back there, and I think I'm going to talk about that like a little bit later when we kind of circle back to places that I would like to go, because I just want to be able to experience more. We'll circle back. Next place would have been Australia. Our first visit to Australia when we came on our holiday in 2023 with Mark's siblings and his dad. We did like a really big road trip from Brisbane up to Cairns. Still can't really say that word. Don't think that's ever going to change. I can't figure that one out. But it was great. I loved it. We stopped at so many cool places along the way. The landscape here is so different to New Zealand, but it is so beautiful in its own right and in its own way. Obviously the big thing for me here is like the oceans and the water and the wildlife. It's so crazy to me just how close Australia is to New Zealand, because realistically when we fly from Auckland to Brisbane, it's 3 hours. Like, it's so close, but it's so vastly different, and it's so cool. Obviously we live here now, so our trip definitely kind of flicked that switch of actually this is really cool, I love it here, and we moved here, and I have lived here at the time of filming this video. I have lived here about 6 months, and Mark has lived here about a year and a bit, probably like 15 months. So yeah, we've been here, we're doing it, it's great. I love it here. The weather's fantastic. Obviously it's very hot and I'm still adjusting, but I think it's great here. The people are lovely, the weather is lovely, and even when we do get storms, the storms are so cool and so different to New Zealand. I genuinely never had that big of a like want to explore Australia because everyone said, oh, it's so similar, you know, but it's not. It's so different. And when we did come on this trip, it was kind of like oh yeah, Australia wasn't on my bucket list, but we'll go, we'll have a good time. And it was a great time. I love it here. I would 100% rate it to anybody, especially New Zealanders who are in the same mindset as me of like, oh, Australia's not going to be that cool. It is. I think it's great. I think everybody should come here, at least for a holiday, at least to check it out for a little while. I rate it. I rate Australia really highly so far, even though my list is short. I think it's like a list of 4, but it's fine. Thanks. You can't get it. It's on the outside. The last place that I have been is Rarotonga, and obviously I uploaded like a full vlog of this one to my YouTube channel, so you can go and watch that. It's a 2-parter because I had so much footage. I think they're both like 40 minutes long, so by all means please go and watch them if you want like an in-depth like view of what we did on that trip. But Raro is like, Raro has my heart. It is the first place that I have visited where I've come home and then like months later I'll spontaneously have that feeling or that urge to be like, oh, I wish I was there right now. It's the first time that's ever happened to me with anywhere that we've been. Obviously you come home from holiday and it's like, it's sad. I like coming home from holiday because I'm ready to be home, but I don't like coming home from holiday because I don't want to leave, you know? And like it genuinely is the first time where, even after I moved here, so this is like relatively recent, I have woken up one morning and been lying here and my brain's just gone, oh, I wish I was back in Raro, you know? I think it is just, it's so pretty. The people are some of the nicest people on the planet in my experience. Again, I've seen very little of this planet, but Rarotongan people, amazing. They're all so lovely, so kind, so accommodating. Even all the tours we did, they're all so personable, so easy to get along with. Like you feel like you've known them your entire life when actually they're just doing their job, you know? The culture is so rich and so like there's so much depth to it, and they want to share so much of it with you that I feel like you kind of just can't help but want to immerse yourself in it. I loved it. Like, I cannot rave about Rarotonga enough. We spent 2 weeks there. I think we actually spent 12 days. About 12 days there, and like immediately, even before we had left, I was like, I'm gonna plan another 2-week trip because there's still so much we didn't get to do. I think a lot of people look at Raro and think, oh, you know, it's a small island, it's a small place, you know, am I actually going to spend that much time there? Am I going to get bored? What's there to do? Because there's not really much like Wi-Fi or like cell phone coverage or anything there. So I think a lot of people just assume that, you know, you can go in one and done it in a week. But we were there for 2, and there's still so much that we didn't do and didn't see and that I would love to go back for. So I genuinely think I could go back for another 2 weeks and still not do it all. I love Raro so much. I'd go back in a heartbeat. All you have to do is like think about it. Be like, Michaela, did you want to? Yep, I'm there. Okay, I hope my rambling about those last 2 places kind of gives you like an idea of like just how much traveling means to me, because that's the end of my list. Those are the only places I've managed to go so far. And I want that list to be so much longer. So now we're going to talk really briefly, hopefully briefly by my standard, about where I want to go. And I have 5 listed here, and I think I'm going to work probably like, I was going to say like bottom up, least want to most want to, but they're all pretty on par for me. So number 1, Japan. And I think I've probably talked about it in videos before, and I talk about it to people in my real life constantly. At the time of filming this, I have a friend who's in Japan right now, and she's sending me like videos and photos of her just living her best life, and I'm so proud of her for going, but also like so incredibly jealous that I am not there. It's insane. We really wanted to make Japan happen in 2025 for us, but unfortunately I don't think it's going to be in the budget just because we are going back to New Zealand in April/May, and then we kind of want to see if we can go home for Christmas as well this year because we missed Christmas last year. So it's a little bit hazy. I don't think Japan is going to happen in 2025 for us, but that means that 2026, May of 2026, I'm coming for you, Japan. I know that it's going to be so super overwhelming. I am trying even now to study and learn like as much as I can. I've joined Facebook groups for like advice and stuff like that, and I'm going to spend the next year not only saving my ass off to try and make this trip happen, but learning just as much as I can so that the trip will be less stressful and more enjoyable for us. I don't do very well in like crowds or like overwhelming situations, and neither does Mark, and from what I've seen of a lot of places that I want to go in Japan, it will be crowded, it will be overwhelming. So just trying to prepare as much as possible in that time. Japan is one of those places, like both Mark and I are quite into anime and just the culture. Again, it's one of those cultures that is so rich and has so much to it that you just can't help, or I at least can't help but just want to get into it as much as possible. I just want to learn everything, I want to see everything. There's so much to do, and I genuinely, like, if we had the budget, I'd go there for like a month and just live, you know. Like, I'm so jealous at this point of everyone that gets to go to Japan and experience all of these amazing things that they have, all of the sights and the atmosphere, and like, this is one of those ones that I could just mindlessly ramble about for so long, because I have wanted to go to Japan for probably 5 or 6 years now, and just haven't been able to make it happen. So I am absolutely determined now that I'm like, I am going to Japan in 2026, even if I have to like sell a kidney or something. Does anyone want a kidney? The next one on my list is Scotland, and Scotland has been on my to visit list for probably close to 10 years, if not longer. My family is Scottish, like Scottish heritage. I mean, obviously I'm a Kiwi, but I have done a little bit of digging into like our family history. I've linked up with some of our what would you call it? Not ancestors, but like some of our more distant family, and I've looked into our like family tree, so I know where we came from and who we're related to, what area of Scotland we come from. Like, I know what our tartan used to look like and things like that. It's one of those places that I've just been drawn to for almost my entire life. I think once you start making sense of these things and looking into those things, it kind of does just feel like I have to go at least once. I've got to see it, because I feel like, and this is like, it's dumb because it's not like it's not like my mum and dad are Scottish and I'm like first generation New Zealander. Like, I'm 5th generation, I believe. May not be, or 6th, 5th or 6th, but I'm pretty sure it's 5th. So it's not like my family, like I didn't grow up immersed in the culture or anything, but I've done so much research and so much digging into it that it does feel like, in a way, like home. And it could be like, I've talked to Mark about it before, and we want to live in other countries other than just Australia. So genuinely we've been like, Japan? Or Scotland? They're both like really high on the list, so I think we want to visit both of those places, see how they really feel, and then maybe consider them for the future. Scotland has always been so high on my list. I want to see the castles, I want to see the lochs and the rolling hills, and I want to go and visit where my ancestors once lived, you know. And I can sit here and ramble and be one of those people that's like insufferable about their heritage, and I'm trying really hard not to be, but it is something that I feel like I have to see it just once. I want to experience it. Even just once is enough for me. I want to see a Highland cow. I've seen Highland cows before. I want to see one in Scotland. It's different. Next one is a little bit more obscure, and it's not It's not the highest on my list. I'd say if I had to put it in ranking, this one would probably be the lowest. And it's Norway. And it's only because I don't really know that much about it. This one's a little bit more of like an impulsive thing, and I could sub it out for a different country if needed, but I really, really want to see the Northern Lights. It's just, that's one of those things that has been on my bucket list since genuinely I was like 10 years old. And it doesn't matter where I have to go to see them, I want to go there. Because I feel like I can't end my life without seeing the Northern Lights in person. Again, just once is enough for me. And I went through a little bit of a, not phase, but I have done a little bit of research, and I think Norway is beautiful. I think it would be wonderful to experience, and from what I've heard and what I've read, you can see the lights really beautifully from there. Obviously at certain times of the year, but it's one of those places that maybe I should do a little bit more digging into it, or maybe I should do a bit more research into the lights themselves, but it's just one of those places that I think it would be cool. I don't really have too much reason behind this one as to why I want to go there other than the Northern Lights. That's why I'm like, if you tell me I could see them from another country, I'll just go to a different country, you know. But I have seen a little bit about Norway, and I think it's absolutely stunning. Like, I'd love to go and see a bunch of other things, not just the lights, but that would be my main motivation for that one. Second to last one, and this one is not, I was going to say it's obscure, but it's not really, because everyone goes there all the time, but I really, really want to go to Vatican City. And I think everyone's just like, oh, so you want to go to like Rome? And I'm like, no, I want to go to Vatican City. Obviously they're kind of like 2 in 1, so if you do one, you're gonna do the other. But my big thing is like, I want to go. I want to see the art, I want to see the churches, I want to see the fountains, and it's one of those things where if you haven't gotten this from me and all of what I've said so far, I'm very, very into like art, culture, all of that kind of stuff. Like, that was not a good way to articulate that, holy hell. Let me try again. If you haven't gathered by my rambling in this video so far, my main motivation for travel is seeing like art and culture and things like that. I'm very, very much a person who is motivated by what I can see and what I can experience and do. I do like things like the food and the shopping, and if there's like experiences that you can go and do, because we do like adventurous stuff all the time, or we like to. But for me, I'm mainly motivated by, you know, what I can see. I love beautiful art, I love sculpture, I love history, and so that's my main thing for Vatican City. I really just, I'm in love with the artwork, and I want to see it, I want to touch it. I know you're not allowed to touch it, but like, that's the urge, you know, it honestly sometimes does feel like desperation, you know. I just get these urges so badly that I'm like, I just want to touch it, I want to grab it. That's what is inside my body when I think about how badly I want to travel. And then my last one, which isn't really that exciting because I've been there before, but it is really exciting. But I would really, really like to redo my American trip, but with Mark. So I know pretty closely what we did while we were there. There are some things that obviously I'm not going to have access to because we went with a foundation. So obviously they organise special things like private tours and things like that that I'm not going to be able to experience again. But things like the theme parks, and I would really love to go and stay in the same hotel that we stayed in and things like that. I want to re-experience it for myself so that I can just kind of soak it in a little bit better, because I definitely feel while it's one of the best experiences I've ever had and I do have such fond memories of it, I feel like as an 11-year-old I definitely didn't appreciate the gravity of it enough. So I'm like, why not do it again? And why not take my favorite person in the entire world with me? Like, I'd love to be able to take Mark and say, this is what I did, this is what I experienced it, and have him kind of be able to understand and experience it as well. That's my main motivation for that one. There are a million places in America that I would love to visit, and I'd love to do like, you know, a massive long trip of a month or 2 months and just go around and visit it all. But my first pick, I think, would be recreating that trip in California for me, because it's just something that I can't put into words, because I know how lucky and how fortunate I was to have that opportunity, because not everybody does. And I think going back and experiencing it again will make me appreciate what I had and what I experienced the first time all the more. Like, I just want to go and do it again. That's it. That's it. I can't put it into any better words than that. I would love to be able to become a part of Koru Care, which is the foundation who took me, and help them and attend this trip again, maybe as an adult helper or something like that. But ultimately, I think being able to go and refresh those memories, and just, like, it means the world to me. If you can't tell, I can't put into words exactly what being able to do that would feel like. But it's something that's very, very high on my to-do list. It's expensive. Don't know when that's going to happen, because I have looked into it. I did quite a bit of research. Chicken, it's on the outside. You can't get it. Oh, Chiggy. She's chasing a moth. I don't know where she even finds them. But yeah, that's me. That's where I've been. My short little jeepers. My short little list, and my list that I'm hoping to expand into next. Obviously, I want to go everywhere and see everything and experience everything, but small steps, baby steps. And those ones that I talked about, honestly, they might not end up being the places that we go next. Oh, hello, Chicky. They might not be the places that we end up going next, but before I die, before I end up in a nursing home, those are the places that I feel like in my soul I have to see. I do have a handful of other places that I think we might go to. Like, I'd like to visit Dubai to see my friend B, or we've talked about potentially meeting in Singapore. I really want to go to Thailand as well, is really big for me. I feel like everybody in New Zealand and Australia wants to go, thanks chicken, to Bali at some point, maybe just to experience it. Not a bad idea. I'd love to go back to Raro, visit some of the other Cook Islands to experience that as well, like Fiji or something like that would be really fun. Basically, I think the only thing that you wouldn't get my buy-in on at this point is a cruise. Cruises terrify me. Absolutely not. Can't do it. I think, I was going to say, I think maybe if the conditions were right, or if it was like the right kind of cruise, the right occasion, she's not going to stop doing that. Maybe, but I don't know, cruises freak me out. I don't think I could do it. This is the culprit you keep seeing flashes of. This is Chicken. Do you not see the fly? It's right in front of you. She's looking at so many things right now that she doesn't know what one to pick. There's a lizard, there's a moth, there's a fly, and you can't get any of them. Actually, you might be able to catch the flies. Anyway, that is the end of this video. Thank you for listening to me ramble. Again, if you have been to any of those places that are like on my to-go list, maybe you could leave me a little bit of advice so that I can like sort of prepare, because I am a stressor. I am so plan A, it's not funny. Oh, not plan A, type A. I like to plan, I like to be organised. I do tend to get quite anxious when going somewhere new if I think I'm going to get overwhelmed. So any advice is more than welcome. Please pop it down in the comments. If you have somewhere that you want to go, maybe tell me about it. I'd always love to learn about new places, or maybe I can add them to my list, because you know that's going to be growing for forever. That's it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you made it this far, I know this video was just a really intense ramble, and honestly I'm not even sorry, because I needed to get it out of my system. I do feel a bit better now. I will see you in my next video, whether that is you see me next week when I upload, or you decide to pop back in a couple of months time and just see if I'm still alive. Hi, I am. I'll see you next time. Bye.